Alright guys, I hesitated to make this video for a little while because I want to do a little bit of research on it. So I'm going to have 3 articles in the description if you guys want to read those as well, but I'm going to go over them in this video. And this has to do with the firing and the cancellation of Jon Gruden. Now I know he didn't get fired, technically he resigned. However, that's beside the point because he pretty much didn't have a choice, let's be honest guys. Like, if he didn't resign, the Chargers would have just released him anyway, because we live in 2021 now and everything has to be woke and political and ridiculous to function. So I'm going to go over these articles, and I couldn't really find the best sources, unfortunately. Like, most of this is just completely biased towards looking at Jon Gruden in a negative light instead of the fact that this guy is an NFL veteran. I mean, he's been in the NFL for decades, guys. If you guys remember, back in 2002, I don't know how, showing my age a little bit, I guess, here, but I don't know if you guys, how many of you guys were like around football during that time, but he won the Super Bowl with the Buccaneers. Is a big deal because he came from the Raiders, and a lot of the staff from the Raiders went to the Buccaneers that next year. He came from the Raiders in 2001, and a lot of the staff went to that team, and so it was a pretty interesting Super Bowl because it was almost like Jon Gruden kind of knew what the Raiders were going to be, and like fate would have it that they would play in the Super Bowl and the Buccaneers would get their first ring. And so it was just kind of an interesting Super Bowl. And yeah, he's been in the league since 1992, guys. It's a long freaking time. So as you can probably tell by the tone of this video, like, I'm not really happy with this. And it's not because I'm like a Jon Gruden fan or anything, although I would say that I am. Like, I always liked his football camps. I remember when Wentz was drafted, actually, Carson Wentz. He did one with Carson Wentz, and that was great. And so those are always fun to watch with Jon Gruden because, like I said, he's been in the league for a very long time, and he knows what he's talking about. So this is pretty disturbing. We've seen this before in the past with people where they just get canceled. You know, Roseanne Barr is an example where she just got completely canceled. Pretty much Donald freaking Trump, guys, the president of the United States before honk honk Joe Biden, he was basically canceled, right? He can't have a Facebook, can't have a Twitter, yada yada yada. So this is the world we live in now. If somebody says something wrong, I don't know if you guys have read George Orwell's 1984. It's kind of like that. Like, if you have wrongthink nowadays, you're canceled. So, like I said, the articles aren't the best. I'm taking the first one from the New York Times, who I really hate reading. Deadline, they're average, and then New York Post, pretty trash for most things as well. However, these are good examples of what I'm going to talk about. So, first one is Jon Gruden's emails, what we've learned so far. This is the New York Times article. It gives his background. Like I said, I already gave the background. But then it says, what was in the emails? In emails from 2011 while he was at ESPN through early 2018. So they're going over like 7 years here, 6 years, which is ridiculous. Gruden frequently unleashed racist, homophobic, and misogynist language in conversations with Allen and others. And again, this is kind of, I don't like this blanket racist, homophobic, misogynist crap that people say nowadays, because that could mean anything. Like, again, this is the problem when you create hate speech, and I'm doing that with quotes, guys. Hate speech, because if you create hate speech, you're basically saying the First Amendment doesn't really matter, and whatever the democracy, right, the mob, 51% say is bad is bad. A lot of people don't understand that republics, that's like a side rant, but republics are actually meant to represent the minority. Democracy represents the majority, which means if the majority hates you, then you're just screwed. So that's why I hate this thing, racist, homophobic, misogynist. what the hell does that even mean nowadays? If you call a woman, that's considered misogynist nowadays. I read this article a while ago. I can't find it right now because it was a while ago, but it was something about this girl was getting asked on dates and she thought that was sexist or something like that. So that's the world we live in now, guys. So this language is already problematic. So anyway, it continues. Gruden, who is white, so there you go. Got to make it a race issue. Gruden, who is white, used a racial trope and insulted the intelligence of DeMaurice Smith, the executive director of the NFL Players Association, who is black. Those remarks were reported by the Wall Street Journal. So again, because he's white and he said it to a black man, right? So if it was like Tony Dungy that said it to DeMaurice Smith, would there be a problem here? Who knows, right? So in emails detailed by the Times, Gruden used homophobic language to characterize Roger Goodell. Again, yeah, I read about this. So he basically called Roger Goodell the F word. I can't say it. Not fuck, the other F word. I can't say it on YouTube because they'll probably delete this video, but you know what I'm talking about. So he called Roger Goodell that. It's like, how many times, guys, have you used that word in high school? Like, how many times have you heard that in like locker rooms? This is just kind of guy speak. And so they're using this. They've now created a problematic rule with this word. So because he said that, the NFL commissioner, when referring to Roger Goodell, Michael Sam, a gay player drafted by the St. Louis Rams, right? So he's probably like joking around, like, oh, they drafted a gay player. And what I saw with Roger Goodell is he was just basically saying that Roger Goodell is a trash commissioner. Which I think we can all agree that he is. Roger Goodell has just been a complete train wreck, in my opinion. Like, I've always hated him as the NFL commissioner. So, I mean, he's just being real. And that's a big problem here, too. These are private emails. He was telling this in confidence, right? This is pretty much a betrayal to Jon Gruden's privacy. The fact that this is even happening. But this is reporting nowadays, right? They just want to destroy someone's character. So, anyway, yeah, Michael Sam, and then denounced the emergence of women as referees, said that Eric Reed, one of the first players to join the former San Francisco 49ers quarterback Colin Kaepernick, is protesting racism, police, blah, blah, blah. I also have kind of had an issue with women joining the league. Like, I have nothing against, like, women being in the workforce and all that, but it's the constant feminization of the NFL. It's been an issue for me. This is coming with, like, penalties becoming more strict. It feels like it's not the NFL of my dad's day, right? And that's concerning because I've always felt like the NFL was kind of a man space. It's something that men could, bond over and reminisce over. It was kind of like, it was like our thing, right? And before even all this political crap, which I'll get into in the next article concerning Colin Kaepernick, before all this political crap happened, the NFL was exactly that. It was just like this fun thing that you could do with your boys, right? You could watch with your boys, you could talk crap, you could say things, right? Like what Roger Goodell's saying, you could say the F word, you call each other gay, whatever, and it wasn't considered like offensive, right? It was a joke. People knew how to take jokes not too long ago, like 10 years ago. But now we've entered this place now where, we're not even allowed to be funny. Like Dave Chappelle, one of the funniest comedians ever, is attacked, right? That tells you what's happening with the culture. Anyway, I'll continue. Gruden also used offensive language to describe some NFL owners, coaches, and journalists who cover the league. And he, Allen, and other men exchanged pictures of women wearing only bikini bottoms, including one photo of 2 Washington team cheerleaders. And this is hilarious to me, honestly, because I remember like 8 years ago, guys, when I was in college, we used to always talk about how hot the Washington Redskins cheerleaders were. They literally did have the hottest cheerleading court. Like the Dallas Cowboys, of course, had some really good cheerleaders, but for some reason, the Washington Redskins always had like the hottest cheerleaders. So this is funny that they're using this, just the wording. Gruden used offensive language, and he was looking at women. It's like, it's so stupid, guys. Like, you got to pay attention to how they write these things. How were the emails discovered? This doesn't really matter. I'll let you guys read that because I want to get to the how did the Raiders respond part of this, just so that this video doesn't last like an hour. It says, on October 8th, after the Journal reported on Gruden's comments about Smith Davis, the Raiders owner issued a statement calling the remarks disturbing, which, again, I refuse to believe that the Raiders, the Buccaneers, and several circles around the league didn't already know about this. Like I said, he's been in the league since 1992. I don't think Jon Gruden magically became this overnight or even within the last 8 years. So this is another thing that's kind of annoying about when these stories leak, right? It's not about the fact that they are disturbed. It's the fact that, oh, it's out in the light now. We've lost the narrative. We can no longer hide this. We live in 2021 where everything is woke as hell and we can't have fun anymore. So it's disturbing. So it's really stupid. It says Gruden apologized but was allowed to coach the Raiders game 2 days later against the Chicago Bears before the article's publication. Gruden resigned within hours after the Times report on Monday that detailed more of his emails. I love the Raiders and do not want to be a distraction, he said. I'm sorry, I never meant to hurt anyone. And I believe when he says that, guys. When he says I never meant to hurt anyone, I truly believe that. Because he's Jon Gruden. He's never come off as, he's kind of come off as a hard ass sometimes, but he's never come off as like a creepy guy that's out to really hurt anyone, right? Again, like I said, it's called jokes. It's called having fun. And this is kind of what guys do. This is why football, again, this is why women coming into the NFL can be a problem. Because women don't really see things the way guys do for the most part. So they're not going to understand the camaraderie, right? The way men talk to each other. And that's fine. Like that's not a negative against women. It's just in this hyper feminized society that we're slowly becoming. It's kind of like listen to women at the exclusion of men, right? So that's the problem here. I truly believe that statement. I'm sorry, I never meant to hurt anyone. I believe that 100%. So anyway, the Times basically canceled him, so he had to resign. And again, like I said, he probably would have just been fired anyway. The Raiders named Rick, and sorry if I'm butchering this name, Bisaccia, their special teams coach as interim coach. And Bisaccia was also the special teams coach under Gruden during the Buccaneers championship season in 2002. And so that's kind of how that went down. What was the reaction elsewhere and what's next? And this is the worst part, guys. This part is the absolute worst. And this just like angers me that this is even allowed to happen. So again, I'm all for the NFL making their own decisions as a business, but the problem is they're not doing this as they're doing this because everything is political now and we live in a woke society. Just remember that. It's that everything, movies, entertainment, football, video games, whatever, it's all becoming political. There's no way to escape it. Wokeism has now become the state religion. We've replaced Christianity with wokeism. So that's why this is annoying. And then I'll continue. Gruden is unlikely to coach an NFL team again or be associated with the league in any formal capacity. The Buccaneers removed Gruden from their Ring of Honor at Raymond James Stadium, and he has lost his endorsement contract with the footwear and apparel company Skechers. EA Sports announced that it would remove Gruden from its Madden NFL 2022 video game. So they're going to delete his character model completely from the game. The NFLPA and the Fritz Pollard Alliance, an organization dedicated to improving diversity in the NFL, yeah, really diverse, also condemned Gruden's comments. So yeah, well, thanks guys. Who all is this guy? The Buccaneers, Skechers, and EA. Congratulations, you guys have all earned your woke points for the day. Lisa Banks and Deborah Katz, lawyers who represent 40 former employees of the Washington Football Club, which they're the Washington Redskins. I don't really give a crap what they say. This probably could be another video, but yeah, like the fact that Washington can't be the Redskins anymore, absolutely ridiculous. But this is what's hilarious. So 40 former employees of the Washington club have called on the league to release more evidence related to Dan Snyder. So you see, guys, this is not going to end with Jon Gruden. This is what cancel culture is. They're going to literally recreate the NFL in their image. And this is why it is so damn hard for me to give a shit about the NFL these days. Because it really doesn't matter. Like, most things about this league just don't matter anymore because it's all political. It's all been politicized and it's just nonsense. So yeah, now Dan Snyder, right? And I'll get into this. There's another thing with Derek Carr. Oh, buckle in, guys. It's going to be a longer video because I have a lot to say here about what's possibly coming down the road for the NFL. If you want to continue to support this trash league. And I'm always going to love the Philadelphia Eagles, no matter what. But it's getting harder and harder to support a league that is this just weak. I don't know how else to describe it. Weak. The NFL used to stand for something. It was masculine. It was tough, right? Now it's just weak. It's participation trophy, just loser in so many ways. So they're going to go after Dan Snyder next, the owner of the team. Smith, the NFLPA executive director, told USA Today that the union would petition for all of the emails to be disclosed, something the league said it does not plan to do. Keep in mind, it says they did not plan to do, but this has now become unionized, right, guys? We're going to get lobbyists. We're going to get unions. Who knows? Maybe even honk President Asterisk Biden might come out there and say something. He probably will. That's how stupid it is, right? I mean, even Trump said something about Kaepernick, which was kind of dumb. Like, everything's becoming political, right? All of our entertainment has to be infiltrated by politicization. So that's the first article. The second one is from Deadline. This one is about Colin Kaepernick. And so basically it says Colin Kaepernick should have been cut for kneeling. This is Jon Gruden's opinion. And I think a lot of fans felt this at the time. I remember I did, because to be honest, in my opinion, I blame Colin Kaepernick in many ways for the start of all of this, as far as the woke in the NFL goes. Like, a lot of this really did start because of Donald Trump. Orange man bad, right? Everyone hated Donald Trump. You know, his tweets were so mean, blah, blah, blah. So everyone started, like, I don't know, semi-protesting Trump in a way by, pushing the woke agenda even further. But Colin Kaepernick, to me, that was the start of the NFL going woke. And this was back in 2017, the year the Eagles won the Super Bowl. So thank goodness the Eagles won the Super Bowl that year, because, I would have lost a lot of steam like I have already. So Colin Kaepernick should have been cut for kneeling during the national anthem, according to a newly uncovered email exchange between former Las Vegas Raiders coach Jon Gruden and ex-GM Bruce Allen of the Washington Redskins. They suspend people for taking amino acids. They should cut this, Gruden wrote in an email to Allen. So yeah, he's just basically, and again, maybe Gruden shouldn't have done this in an email form. That probably wasn't smart on his part, but it's not because it was wrong. It's because he should have known that with this wokeism, maybe they didn't even realize how bad it was in 2017, because this has really progressed fast, honestly, guys. Especially once COVID hit, like, this is progressing fast as far as this culture war going. But yeah, he probably shouldn't have sent the emails. Maybe did, like, I don't know. I guess not even texts are safe now, so who knows? All I know is they were private emails. He was giving his opinions. And, I agree. Like, I didn't like Colin Kaepernick kneeling during the anthem either, because, again, that was a tradition of football. It's how you destroy a society, guys, is you start to shit all over the culture. You start to destroy the traditions. One of the biggest traditions that's been destroyed in this country, in my opinion, is the family. That's like a whole nother video, though. But this is how you destroy a society. And football was always a unifying thing to me. It was always unifying. It was like, I hate your team, but it's like, we're rivals, right? Like, I'm an Eagles fan, you're a Cowboys fan. Like, we can jab each other. I hate your team, you hate my team, but, like, we can still be civil at the end of the day because it's just sports. But now everything's become so serious, so politicized. So then it just talks about Kaepernick. You already know about what happened with him. But yeah, that one's a really quick article. That one's just basically, I wanted to put that in there because, of course, Colin Kaepernick would show up in this kind of video or this kind of thing because it has to do with my racism and, you know, my diversity and whatever, my transphobia. I don't even know what all the isms are nowadays. So, yeah, Colin Kaepernick should not have kneeled. That's my opinion. And then also, cry me a freaking river. The real reason why Colin Kaepernick is not with a team, to be quite honest, is that he just sucks. I mean, I'm sure there is a lot of teams too. Like, I remember that Colin Kaepernick was saying how the league had a conspiracy against him or whatever. But really, this is just business 101, guys, okay? So Colin Kaepernick created this very divisive image for himself by kneeling for the flag. He literally pissed off half the country. He rallied some people, but he pissed off probably 50 to 60, possibly even 70% of the country at the time. It might have shifted now because that was like 4 years ago, but at the time, he pissed off a lot of people. So there's no conspiracy here. What it is that the NFL did not want to be associated with someone like this. So even if you want to call it a conspiracy, what it is it's really just good business sense. If somebody's making a fool of themselves, right? Like if you walked into your company naked and just was streaking all over the call center, wherever you work, and they fire you, and then you sue them for a conspiracy, right? Does that even sound logical? No, it doesn't. So, again, Colin Kaepernick, he played the victim. It worked out for him because he ended up getting more money from Nike anyway than he ever got in the NFL. So he can cry me a freaking river, honestly. I really am done with the Kaepernick thing. I've been done with it for a while. But it came up in this Jon Gruden thing, so felt like talking about it. The last one, and this one is probably one of the most annoying things I've ever read. So this has to do with Derek Carr, who is the quarterback of Jon Gruden. Obviously, you guys know the Raiders. But basically, this is what he says. After former Raiders head coach Jon Gruden's emails were exposed in an NFL investigation, revealing racist, homophobic, and bigoted comments. There we go again, guys, with the labeling. That spanned years. His now former quarterback thinks other people should go down with the ship. Derek Carr, who looked on pace for a Pro Bowl season under Gruden, urged the NFL to open up everything. This is what he says in quotes, if we just started opening up everyone's private emails and texts, people would start sweating a little bit. Hopefully not too many, Carr said on Wednesday, but maybe that's what they should do for all coaches and GMs and owners from now on is open up. You've got to open up everything, see what happens. So what he's basically saying, guys, there's no see what happens here. What he's basically saying is if you don't like women in the NFL, if you don't like gay people in the NFL, if you say anything that sounds racist, even though I don't even know how anyone can be a racist and be in the NFL, it doesn't make any sense. Racism is on life support at this point, in my opinion, because it's like two realities. People will say racist, but then you actually look at the reality and it's like, no, there's no white supremacy going on in this country. There's no racism towards black people. Do you guys want a really good YouTuber? I don't mean to like plug other YouTubers, but watch Kevin Samuels. If you want to really see what's going on in the black community, watch Kevin Samuels. Fantastic YouTube channel. That's all I'll say. But basically, racism is on life support at this point, and they just want to keep it alive because it's a grift. It's the great grift. If you can make women and men hate each other, if you can make black and white people hate each other, Mexican white, Mexican black, whatever you want, right? If you can make people divisive and hate each other, and this is probably one of the reasons why they're attacking the NFL, right? They want it to be divisive because it was a unifier. It didn't matter what you were. You'd come to football and it's like everybody has their team, you root for your team, whatever. But this is how you destroy a society, is you just start dividing everyone and you make everything political. So that's really what they're doing with this. Just keep that in mind. But then he's saying he wants emails and texts. So yeah, what I said before, not even your phone is safe, guys, anymore. You can't text your friend and say anything without thinking oh shit, if I say this, am I going to get canceled? You know, like, will something bad happen? Is ridiculous. So then it finishes with the emails were revealed in a New York Times investigation. Yeah, we already went over that. But it targeted the Washington football team, the Washington Redskins, who were involved in a scandal over rampant workplace misconduct. Which it sounds like, yeah, I could go into probably that. I could probably do some more research on Washington, but they changed their name, so they caved to the NFL. And then, yeah, it sounds like they were taking pictures of cheerleaders topless. But again, it's like, who wouldn't, I guess? Like, if you're in the NFL and a really hot cheerleader is going to show you her tits, like, are you really going to say no to that? I have no clue. So, not saying I really agree with that, like, me as a person, but it's like, at the same time, this is understandable, and it happens in the league. Like, these are men that have lots of money, and these are women that are looking to be with high value men. So like, this is just human nature 101. I don't see the problem here. So it says in his emails, Gruden used homophobic serve. Yeah, they shared topless photos, cheerleaders, and ripped female officials. So we already went over that. But then Carr says, I love the man, hate the sin. And this is another thing that happens nowadays is like, people are like, oh, I'm Christian. But the problem with this woke religion we're living in now, guys, is that there's just no forgiveness. That's the problem. There's no forgiveness. Michael Vick to this day is still hated. I'm one of the few defenders of Michael Vick. I could make a video on that. An entire video on Michael Vick, the case for Michael Vick. Because people just won't let it go. Like, what he did was horrible. I totally agree. But there's this thing called redemption. There's this thing called forgiveness. Unless you're like a pedophile, like murderer, multi-murder racist, or a rapist. Like, I don't see why someone can't be forgiven. And again, what Michael Vick did to dogs was horrible. But then what he's done for the Humane Society, right? Like, it's called atoning for your sins. He's probably saved more dogs than he's killed at this point. But that's beside the argument. The point is that forgiveness is just dead to these people. Like, Jon Gruden is now canceled as far as, like I read before, right? EA, Skechers, the NFL, he's done. So they're going to move on with that new coach. But I really liked this comment on the New York Post article. It says, how far back should they go, Derek? Apparently the woke crowd can never forgive. They refuse to see that people can make mistakes and that people can grow, change. And that's exactly it. I am now in my 30s, okay? Some of the beliefs that I had in my 20s are completely different than the beliefs I have nowadays, guys. But should I be held? Everyone goes through a learning process in life. Should you be held to your past mistakes forever? Like, obviously, if the Raiders didn't want him on the team, they could fire him. But for the entire league and all these companies to just disown him, and he probably won't be able to ever get a gig again, guys. He's never going to be able to go on ESPN. He's never going to be able to be an announcer again. Like, he's done with the NFL. They will never forgive this. And that's the problem, is that he is canceled. He's 58 years old and he's canceled. So it's just ridiculous. And this video is getting really long, but I'm going to end it with this. Like, honestly, if I was Jon Gruden, I don't know. I'd contact people like Joe Rogan. I don't know, even Alex Jones, right? All the people that have been canceled. Stefan Molyneux. And I would just, I don't know, I would just start my own thing, right? Like, his football camp is amazing. Just start that on your own thing. Maybe, go talk to other NFL players that have been canceled for similar reasons. I don't know. Entertainment figures, right? Even Bill Maher, if you guys know who Bill Maher is, he's a far leftist, but even he's waking up to how ridiculous this is getting. So the tide is shifting, but they are desperately clinging on to this, and the NFL could not be more egregious in this. The only one that's probably worse is the NBA. The NBA is like full-on communist, like China support at this point. But the NFL is fast approaching, guys. I mean, they're catering to transgenders. They're catering to women. Like, people that don't even care that much about football. On average, guys, women and gay people and transgender people, they don't really care about the NFL. So this is the problem with wokeism in general, is you're catering to such a minority of people. And it's just ridiculous. It ruins it for everyone because a couple people got butthurt. You're going to ruin it. And this is where you're not thinking logically anymore. You're thinking emotionally. And it's just ridiculous. So I'm really rambling at this point, guys. Like I said, I will leave links for these articles in the description if you want to read through them. But this had to be a longer video because I really wanted to delve into this. And it's frankly just disgusting what has happened to Jon Gruden. And expect it to happen to more. I'm keeping my eye open. They've been going after Dan Snyder, you know. If they, again, remember, if they did it to Donald Trump, they can do it to you. Donald Trump was the president at the time, and they were doing this. This is what they do, guys. If they don't like you, they will destroy you. That's the point. So, anyway, guys, I hope you found this video informative. As always, at the end of my videos, I like to do my shameless plugs now for alt tech because, as I like to call it, new tech. Because YouTube sucks. YouTube is trash. It's censoring the conversation. It's not allowing people to have discussion. So, things like Odyssey, BitChute, Rumble, Minds, stuff like that. Mostly Odyssey at this point. If you guys want to follow me on anything, Odyssey is the way to go. Like I said in the past videos, Odyssey has a cool feature where they will actually automatically import all of your YouTube content over to Odyssey. So it's a nice little backup there. It's built on the blockchain. If you guys know anything about crypto, that's a good thing. So that is kind of my plan now. YouTube sucks, so I'm going to continue to plug new tech because YouTube is a sinking ship at this point. So anyway, guys, that is the video. Like I said, let me know in the comments down below. This has been kind of a rant of a video, but I really do want to hear your guys' opinions on this. If you agree with me, if you disagree with me, like, I'm not here to censor the conversation. And if you guys' comments don't show up in the videos, just know that's not my doing. That's YouTube's doing. I've actually been fighting with this for a while. I've been going into my settings and checking, and there's just like a whole bunch of comments from like some of my older viewers too. They're just being blocked. I don't know why. I have no clue what the hell YouTube's algorithms are doing anymore. So this is, again, why I hate YouTube so much. It's such a sinking ship. So, yeah, comment down below, and I hope it doesn't block your comment, but I'll check the comments every couple days or so, especially on this video, because it's a little bit different. But, yeah, if you guys are getting your comments blocked, just know I'm not doing it. It's all YouTube. If you guys want to comment and nothing will happen, go to Odyssey. Odyssey is completely uncensored, and I could make a whole video on them. I'm not trying to like shill for Odyssey, but like it really is the future. Like these things like YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, like these are not allowing the conversation. These are censoring the conversation. These are controlling the narrative with many things. So I don't think they will last. Whoever is censoring the conversation is usually the one losing the debate. Remember that. So anyway, guys, like I said, I'm going to end the video now. This has been going on for over 30 minutes. So if you've watched this far, you guys are awesome. Thank you so much for all the supporters, all the old subscribers, new subscribers that come to my channel. Appreciate it all, and I'll talk to you all later.